What's your relationship like with your father on this segment of A Scared to Be Married? What's up, Brave Arts community? This here is Sean Heineman here with another segment of A Scary to Be Married, wanting you to love fearlessly. Today, I'm going to kind of take you down memory lane a little bit. I want to talk about my relationship with my dad. Some of you might be familiar, some of you not. But I also want you to leave in the comment section below, what was your relationship like with your father? I posted this on Twitter and I got a lot of responses from people in their relationship with their dad, good or bad. But I want to talk about my relationship and let me know again, what was your relationship like with your dad in the comment section. So without being too long, some of you know about me being birthed from adultery. Are you tired of dating the same person, just different faces? Are you tired of people wasting your time in this whole dating process? Do you desire to marry one day? I created this 5-part video series entitled Dating Intentionally 5 Ways to Know They Are the One for You. You can get it now in the comment section below. You will see it is the number 5 ways to know podia.com. I created this 5-part video series with you in mind. Now let's get back into today's podcast episode. And my dad had two of us. It was me and my little sister, but it was a total of 4 of us, right? So needless to say, when you have two families, it's kind of hard to be in two different places at one time. So sometimes my dad was there, sometimes he wasn't. I remember some of the highlights of our relationship was me working with him. Like my dad, he used to drive a produce truck. So I would go and work down on the dock with him and load the produce on the truck. And I seen a different side of my dad, like seeing him physically working, opposed to when I would see him at home, with my mom and family. I seen two different versions of him. He was almost like a little more interesting when he was at work, I would say. Seen a different side of him. So I would work with him in the summer. We'll get up around 4 o'clock in the morning. We would go to work and I would spend the whole day with them sometimes. So those were some of the memorable things. Some of the other memorable things were, I remember him bringing McDonald's breakfast for us to have. And we would, I guess I'm telling my age, but they kind of had the whole styrofoam kind of plate kind of thing where you had your eggs and the sausage and all the other good stuff. And he would bring us breakfast and we would, eat together as a family. Sometimes we said a lot, sometimes we didn't, but I think it was just because we just spent that quality time with him that I thought was important. Sometimes when he would come over, he would play football with us, with my friends and I. My dad was a lot older than I, which is funny because now I'm older and I have young kids. So I'm just like, oh man, I'm repeating in my dad's footsteps. So he was a little older, but he would play football with us sometime. We'll get out there in the street and he'd be throwing a football with us. Those were some memorable things. I remember going to a tennis tournament and I was killing everybody at the tennis tournament. I was, well, leading up to that, I had to do practice and stuff like that. So we would practice and then we started the tournament and my parents never made it to any of them except for this one game in the tournament. And I was one game away and that was the game that they came to see me. And I got my butt whooped by some guy, kind of looked like Jimmy Neutron. He just destroyed me, right? I was so crushed because this was the first time I actually had my parents come out to actually come and see me play tennis. And I just knew I was going to win. But those were memorable moments. But there were times where, he just wasn't there because obviously he had another family. So I kind of got used to being the man of the house, if you will. And I remember another memorable moment was us watching football together. I think that's why I'm such a big Cleveland Browns fan to this day, is because we used to watch the Cleveland Browns. Now, if you know the Cleveland Browns history, they were somewhat good, but then a lot of times they were trash. They would let you down at the last minute. So my dad would be betting on these Cleveland Brown games, and he would just be so upset. And I think that's probably some of the funniest stuff that my friends and I would ever see, because my dad didn't show a lot of emotion, but when he did, it was quite a scene to see. So my friends would even get excited about coming over and watching the games with us. So even to this day, I think that's one reason why, because I was born and raised in Cleveland, why I like the Browns that much, just because, and even football in general, because it brought back those memories. Then I remember my dad, he passed away of a stroke back in 2007. And it left me with so many questions. Like there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to know, but I just really didn't know. I had to kind of like ask my mom afterwards, like trying to understand the whole dynamic with the whole relationship and stuff. And I remember going to his funeral, and I realized that I had like sisters. I had three sisters that lived in Detroit that I didn't even know, right? And just so much stuff you find out about at a funeral. And I met them, and my little sister, we met them at the funeral. And from there, we ended up having a pretty good relationship. We shared a lot of stories together about their version of my dad, and what my sister and I saw. So you just never know. So this is one of those things where I told myself that when I became a dad, and when I became older with kids and stuff like that, that, for one, I would never leave my kids. And number two, I'm going to always be there for my kids, because it's interesting feeling to realize like all the stuff that you didn't know about your dad. You just be like, really, I had no idea. And other people are telling you all these stories, and you just like lost. So if anything, I wanted my kids to always tell the story of me that they knew, because I was there with them. But looking back now, I realized that, he was doing what he was doing, and that was the life he lived. I didn't have any bitterness or resentment, but I can't say with him having a stroke, it helped me to realize that I can't get an apology or a understanding of what happened, because I was just lost. So I guess too, my thing to you is sometimes you might not be able to get the apology that you want. Sometimes you might not be able to get the explanation you want, but don't put your life on hold because they never gave you that apology, or they never made it up to you, if you will. Don't ever put your life on hold, because you just might never get it. Don't give anyone that kind of power over you. But anyway, I just wanted to share this story with you all, just to let you know about my relationship, like what it was like with my dad growing up. And let me know in the comment section, like I said before, what was your relationship like with your dad? And then how did his relationship with you impact your life? I would love to hear from you. This is Sean Heineman here at It's Scary to Be Married. I want you to love fearlessly. Take care, people.